that is coolant. Welcome back. Things have taken a big turn for the worse. My hope was to get this started. I just had to prime the oil pump, set the timing, and make sure that the radiator fan was set up, but we've got a major problem. I'm also getting over being sick, so my voice sounds horrible. This whole weekend has gone totally off the rails. Follow along, see what's happening. Good morning. I've been sick all weekend, but I'm hoping today's going to be the day. It's Sunday. It's supposed to get to mid-60s today. There's still some snow out, but it's melting away quick. I've got to make sure that the radiator fan is set up in the link ECU, double check the timing, prime the oil pump, and then in theory, it should be ready to start. So as a reminder, we've got this electric radiator fan wired up, and it's actually controlled through this relay box that I've added. That's controlled by the link ECU. So in here, this relay here is what switches the fan on and off when triggered by the link ECU. So I've got fuse in there, the relay set up. Now we're gonna hop over to the computer here where we can manually trigger it on and off to make sure that it's working, and then I've got to set the temperature that will tell the relay to turn the fan on. So here's your distributor gear. The top is what indexes with the distributor. The bottom actually is what turns the oil pump. So I took the 7/16 rod and ground it down to match. And now I can drop it in here. And put a drill on it and use it to spin the oil pump. This actually goes counterclockwise on these cars. I'm gonna spin it until I start seeing some oil come out the top here. There we go. I see oil coming out. Well, this is not great. That is coolant. While I was priming the oil pump, it pushed coolant out first. I did end up taking a bore scope and putting it down the spark plug holes. Those look fine. No signs of coolant in there. I just don't know why there would be any coolant. When I put the break-in oil in, I only put like 4 quarts in, and it was reading well beyond the full line on the dipstick, which is normal because I didn't fill the oil filter. So now that I've primed it, the oil filter should be filled. I should put the dipstick in, and in theory, it should read low because I only have those 4 quarts in. Let's pull it and see what it looks like. The max line is there, and it's way up here. So it's way overfilled, probably because there's coolant sitting in the bottom of the pan. think we're effectively at 0 steps forward, 2 or 3 steps back. I've drained the oil. There's definitely coolant in the oil. So I have it sitting out here just where it's a little bit warmer so that the oil and coolant will separate, but you can definitely see coolant is separating out at the bottom here. It should look like this. It's clearly a little milkshake looking. The only thing I can think of is the head gasket didn't get installed right. I did go through and double check all of the head bolts and they are all torqued down. I'm gonna wait to pull the head though. At this point, in pulling the head, I have to take the intakes off. I have to take the exhaust manifold off. They don't have to come all the way out, just pulled away from the head. Drain all the coolant again. Stuff happens, I guess. Big setback for morale, at least. I think the first thing I'm gonna do is just let it sit for a few days. See if any coolant fills the oil pan again. And go from there. So I'm gonna leave it partially disassembled because I might have to take the cylinder head off. All right, we're back out here in the garage. I actually got this tool. I ordered it on Amazon at like 10 o'clock at night and it arrived this afternoon. It is a radiator pressure tester and it also lets you fill your radiator under vacuum, which is kind of cool. It's a vacuum filler. For now though, I'm just pressurizing the coolant system to see if it leaks coolant out. I did uncover one of the heater hose clamps needed to be tightened. It was leaking a little bit. And then the water pump, there's an O-ring that started leaking a little bit. It's the pipe that goes down to the lower radiator hose. I've got things pressurized right now. And my hope was that maybe, seeing as this was leaking just from sitting here under gravity, I figured I would be like hearing some sort of a hiss or something. I don't hear anything. What I'm gonna do is, this has been sitting overnight, a little over 24 hours now. I did put a scope down and see that there is fluid of some sort in the oil pan that's higher than it was yesterday. So I think I'm gonna take the drain plug out one more time and just see what comes out. I still have what came out yesterday sitting in that bucket, so I'm just gonna put this in some small little bucket. I don't think it's gonna be much. So I was doing a bore scope test down all the push rod holes. It definitely seems like there's coolant pooling right where the head and the block meet, and I can see like coolant coming down. But as I'm doing that, look what happened right here. That's that freeze plug on the front of the head that I had to patch once. It's already leaking. So I think that pretty much seals the deal. The head's gonna have to come off. I'm hoping it's just a head gasket. I'll probably order a different type. Maybe I put it on upside down. It's a symmetrical head gasket, so it can go on either way, but the material on top and the bottom might be different. I was pretty sure I put it on correct. Hitting enough unknowns that I think it makes sense just to drain the coolant, take it off, new head gasket, fix the freeze plug, fix the water pump leak, hopefully get a new hose for the heater core hose on the back that I know is leaking. glad that this is at least easy to work on. The good thing is, see where it says top right there? Well, I don't know if it's a good thing or not. The good thing is I put the head gasket on the right way. The bad thing is now I still don't know what the problem is. Let's take a closer look at the head gasket and the head surface. So you can definitely see up here, there's some sludge that's from coolant and oil sitting. But keep in mind, I did prime the oil pump and it stirred up a bunch of coolant and spread it everywhere. So that could be just from the coolant getting up to the head and flowing back in. But when I ran the bore scope down, I could see coolant like actively dripping. So I think it's just, I don't know, this head gasket didn't get clamped down enough. On these head gaskets, you can see there's kind of this darker surface. It's a little tackier feeling. I think it's some sort of sealant that they put on this outer edge. Kind of goes, you know, starting here, goes about halfway there, goes to there, goes to there, goes to there. And then on each of these, around these coolant passages, there's just a little strip right there. Which seems kind of silly to me, because then it seems like you're gonna have an uneven surface between here and here. Between here and here. Looking up close on the cylinder heads, it's kind of hard to really tell. You can see wherever it looks kind of dirty, that's where the gasket touched. Then you have these like kind of cleaner ridges where these metal ridges really pressed against there. I'll have to look back at the bore scope footage. I think on the bore scope, it was looking through this hole where I could see it actively dripping. It's kind of hard to tell here. I mean, that's pretty goopy looking. And I don't know, maybe in there, it could have been leaking too. Everything else I think looks fine. I'm gonna clean it up real quick and try and kind of dab some of the coolant out from the lifters there. I'm gonna order a different style head gasket. For whatever reason, the E's and the F's, they're kind of egg shaped. So you can see between my eyes, they actually kind of push in a little bit closer to each other. Apparently that's to accommodate some of these larger valves, and this has even larger valves than stock because this has been built up. It's got bigger valves, it's been ported. I would like to find an E or an F style gasket with that sort of egg shape or elliptical shape, but the thinnest gasket. I have seen different head gaskets that instead of this style where you can kind of see there's almost like that gasket material or adhesive that just goes kind of part way up. There are others where there's actually a bead of some sort of sealant that goes all the way around those. Might try and find that. We'll see. Do a little bit of shopping around, but I'm feeling more confident that's what it is. I know I've got to fix things. I've got to get some new freeze plugs. We'll make it better and we'll know for sure what's changing, and hopefully that'll do the trick. Gonna have to order parts, put us back a few weeks. Hopefully by the end of March, we'll be starting this. Who knows, I guess at this point. Knock on wood, fingers crossed, this will be it. We'll see you again next time. Might not be next week. Might take a break and try and wrap some things up at once. So thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.